I think if I don't interrupt it a little bit, we'll get taken down for copyright. So I'll just break up the music a little bit. This is the War Report, and this particular song, if you haven't heard it before, is the theme for the greatest man that ever lived, A-Double, the man with the great video package. Let's put it that way, right? And a great new theme song for him and everything. So he's returned to action, returned to 205. We are here with the War Report as usual, live and in public, if you will, baby, on a Tuesday night, 7 p.m. on the Eastern dial. Thank you all for joining us. I think we're going to have a time change coming up in a couple weeks for those of you who listen other places that observe daylight savings time. So we'll always update you for that a couple weeks in advance. But welcome to the War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate.com, the world's first and only dating site for wrestling fans. Find your tag team partner at our roster of over 20,000 superstars and divas. Find your tag team partner that is not Steve, that is not Kat, because somebody already asked her to wrestle, but our two eligible bachelors for our soon-to-be reality show, Ryan and Eric. We got to put the advertisement out for those. We'll work on that. But, of course, the commandant, the man in charge, the big cheese, the boss, not Sasha Banks, not Stephanie McMahon.
Not Bruce Springsteen.
He doesn't have hair like any of them. But, Steve, we'll pass it over to you. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in and checking out the War Report. I've got some breaking news.
Excellent.
So we're going to start off with a bang. This same exact time, 1 week from today, we will have a very special guest live on the War Report. He is one of the favorites of Impact Wrestling. We don't refer to it as TNA anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, TagMeADate.com brings to you Robbie E. Will be on the podcast live 7 p.m. next Tuesday. So make sure you tune in and check it out. It's going to be fantastic.
The party lights are on.
The party lights are on
here.
And I also want to mention one more thing. Tag Me a Date is also happy to announce that on 8/26, which is Northeast Wrestling in Dutchess at the Dutchess Stadium, one of the biggest events of the year, TagMeADate.com will also be bringing one Robbie E. to Northeast Wrestling. He has been booked on the card, and he is again brought to you by TagMeADate.com. So it's been a great day where big things are popping, little things are stopping, and then we got to quickly talk about the big event in New York from this past Saturday. I know it's a little touchy subject for some, as Kat did get sick and was not able to attend. And Autumn, don't worry, and don't be mad at Mom.
Don't you dare be sour.
I have a very big surprise coming your way, so don't you worry. You got a little something coming. I'm not giving you any more than that. So you have sleep on that.
Look at her face.
Oh, jeez. Look at that.
Trust me when I tell you, you are going to go crazy. So it will make up for you not being able to be at the big event. So don't worry. I got you covered. Now,
What do you guys? Thank you guys.
Oh, you're welcome. Don't thank me yet. You thank me after the surprise. And maybe we should try and get some videos set up so that we could see it. But we'll figure that out.
I think I can work.
Yeah, I figured you would, but you're going to love it. The rest of you on the show, I'll fill you in with the surprises when Autumn is no longer with us. However, the big event in New York.
All right,
You're going to kill her?
What'd you say?
So you're going to kill her? You said no longer with us. I'm like, she's like 6.
No, you sick fucks. Now,
see, we saved the swears for when she left.
See? Look at that. And that's not easy for me. You're welcome. See, now, the big
I still love her.
What?
Maroon.
So, listen, the big event in New York. The big New York was a huge
Now the
success.
notes are really going to be coming. We just tried to kill a kid on the show.
The big event in New York
Hey, guy used to
was such a huge success. It was such a huge success. This place was absolutely mobbed. We got there very early. There was already a line out the door. There was a line inside. You had everybody from Dennis Rodman to Mike Tyson to Tito Ortiz. You had Sting. You had Bret Hart. You had Demolition. You had Paige and Alberto Del Rio. You had Christian and Lisa Marie Verone. The list goes on and on. Sid Vicious was there. It was just an amazing event. Tag Me a Date brought Maven. Maven was a huge home run. He had a blast, and we got a lot more coming. A lot more future events with Maven as well. So we're very excited. And thank you for everyone that came out and supported Maven and supported Tag Me a Date. We got a lot of signups in 24 hours just from that event alone.
Hell yeah.
So we do appreciate it.
And again, if you are a lucky lady in the New York, Pennsylvania tri-state area, or perhaps North or South Carolina, we are casting for a internet reality show called Tag Me a Date, the dating game. I don't know. We'll think of a Tag Me a Dating game. We'll take the dating game. We'll cross out part of it and just put our logo. Basically, long story short, we're gonna try and find dates for these two sad sacks here. No, I'm just kidding. They're nice guys. They're very nice guys. They're just.
Hey, I was gonna say that's an astute.
Is that a little too on the nose?
It was a little too on the nose there.
All right, so we will do that.
Too close to home.
Right. So listen, before we get too far into it today, I do have a little song queued up here. And this is for our good buddy Stu, who is no longer with us. But Stu was a big part of Tag Me a Date. He was the driving force behind trying to get interviews and autographs and pictures for Instagram and social media. He was never shy about walking up to somebody and saying, "Hey, we want you to be on a podcast. Could we have your email address?" No fear. It didn't matter if he was talking to Goldberg or any number of divas or anybody. He just had no perception of being, that they are bigger than him or they're intimidating. He just didn't show that kind of fear in his eyes. He always was able to walk up to somebody and talk to them on their level. So,
I remember the day that I announced that Tag Me a Date was even going to be a thing. And he was the first person that called. And
he was a true believer.
Dude, anything I can fucking do, you let me know. And he was such a beast and such a workhorse and just an all-around great guy, good friend. And I can't believe it's already been a year.
That's amazing. I can't believe it either.
I feel like it was not too long ago we were doing the belt tow for him, and now it's a year later. But I know he's resting in peace, and he's watching Tag Me a Date do big things.
Out with the best of them.
That's right. It. And so this episode is definitely dedicated to Stu.
That's right. So thank you guys for listening. And again, Stu was, if you didn't hear some of the earlier episodes, and we can, if they're not up, we can put them up somewhere. Stu had the world's noisiest computer that sounded like a plane taking off, but he always contributed. He was always there listening. He was always there chiming in. He was not shy.
He also liked taking us into the bathroom with him, too.
Oh, geez, yeah. There was that one time he swore he hung up, but he did not. He swore to God he hung up. But,
it was fine. I was marking out over Kane, so that.
There you go. Yeah, it was.
If there's a time to pee over a rant, it's marking out over Kane.
I'd love. Did you miss? Was it one of those things where you were trying to pee and watch the TV at the same time? So you're leaning. You're like, "What's going on?" Trying to see how far you can step back from the toilet, still hit it, and still try and reach the TV. No, I've been thinking about putting a TV in my bathroom.
Optimum had that thought for a very long time. It would be very convenient because you know what? Now with the phone,
I
have Optimum and I have the app and I can put it on and I can watch live TV. So when I'm unfortunately in the bathroom for a while, I throw on the TV. So and then of course I drained my fucking battery. So it's
There you go.
I
was
having a
thinking of
TV
putting
in
some
there.
kind of dock in there for smartphones or for tablets.
That would be
that would be good because it started with trying to wire up speakers, but instead I found a nice Bluetooth speaker. But then that just made me more motivated to get a screen in there because I was like, well, I've already got a Bluetooth speaker, so I could just get like an iPad or something.
What we need to do is invent something specifically for the bathroom and the smartphone.
Yeah, well, there's a toilet paper stand, and on the back it has an iPad holder. That's about all I've seen. But it's like $40.
Want that. I would pay $40 for that.
So yeah, it's on Amazon, and trust me, it's crossed my mind. So.
I would never see my husband again.
The other problem would be you'd want to keep a thing of wipes by the for the iPad because really, do you want to touch the iPad after somebody's
you
being
gotta
bad?
hand sanitize.
Yeah, you got to spray it down with something, I think.
Yeah, and actually, real quick, before we really get off topic, one thing I did forget to mention: special shout out and massive thank you to Alberto Del Rio.
Alberto.
Yeah. So we had a table at the big event in New York, and it was right by the entrance door to the main hall. So it was prime location. Everybody had to walk by us to get to the main hall. And I didn't know until last minute that Alberto was even going, although he's done the last 3 or 4, and that's kind of how we got to know him. Because one year we were next to him, our tables were next to each other, and we spent 5 hours with the guy, and we got pretty close with him, and he got close with my wife Stacy as well. And
of course,
and it's always like, is he gonna remember? Is he gonna remember? And he walked in with Paige, and I was like, oh my God, Paige is like 5 steps away from me. And let me just tell you, she is absolutely gorgeous, as much in person as on TV. And just an absolute sweetheart. The accent in person is so sexy. But but they came right up. Hey, listen. I would take the ass whip and it'd be worth it.
Right.
But yeah. I'll tell you this, they came right over to our table. They extended their hands. Alberto introduced Paige to us. She took one of the Tag Me a Date brochures, and then they went to their table. About halfway through the show, Stacy and I were able to leave Maven for about 2 minutes, and we went over to their section, which of course they had one of the longest lines in the place. And Alberto made eye contact with us, flagged us over, beat the whole line. He grabbed an attendant, said, "Here, take a picture for me." And that's the photo that we shared with Paige and Alberto. So big thank you for him. Not asking for any donation from us, as well as being able to cut the line, being a vendor. So, and giving us the opportunity to meet Paige. So it was very cool. So thank you for that.
That's awesome.
Fun.
Why do most of those convention stories involve guys remembering Stacy?
Oh, dude, right? I mean, I'll tell you what. You know how many people walked by the table and asked Stacy if she was a wrestler?
Yeah,
probably tons. Yeah, I believe it.
Several times.
She was like blown away by it. So what a compliment for Stacy. And it's always great. They always remember Stacy. Although Victoria, we said hello to her at the beginning of the day, and then halfway through the day, she was walking by me and she slapped me on the back, kind of thing, because we're old pals now. It's just, to be able to say these are the people that we grew up watching,
Right.
And I mean, Victoria always reaches out every time, like she'll see me and be like, "Oh my God, how are you?" Come and give me a big hug, and like, she remembers me. She remembers. So obviously, Tag Me a Date is sticking out, which is helping people remember, and it's just a blessing. I mean, this is, and it's very professional and business-like, but it's just a great situation all around, So,
Steve, before we continue, I was just going to say, the moment Tony Atlas walked by our table and Stacy said to him, "What do you think of my feet?"
Well, and
as you may or may not know, Tony Atlas
I think everybody knows, but yeah, go ahead.
Has some kind of foot fetish. I think it was on Legends House where he mentioned it, but it's pretty much well known at this point.
Yeah, we've done a
Tony
couple
Allen.
we've done a couple of Northeast wrestling shows with Tony where we've had tables together, and that's his legit laugh, by the way. Like, that's not even a put on, which is even funnier. And he's always been great with us, and so every time Stacy sees him, she always asks him that, and it's just the running joke now. But to even be able to say you have a running joke with a guy like Tony Atlas, I mean, this is Tony fucking Atlas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just very cool, and we're just blessed and fortunate to be in the situation we are, and hopefully Tag Me a Date continues to do its thing and just get bigger and better than ever. So we're super pumped, and but yes, everyone seems to remember Stacy at these events, especially the male superstars, which is great.
Like the Nasty Boys, for instance, who were not there. But,
yeah, they were not there.
Oh, but if they were,
They would have been
forget
nasty.
hey, Stacey.
and of course, we couldn't have done this without Maven, and Maven was a absolute superstar. He was humbled by the whole experience. He had a great time.
Oh, that's good.
And you know
Always
what else? And he had a
Hero.
phenomenal turnout. Like, people brought the encyclopedias and this and that. There was one guy that asked Maven to sign 17 different things.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and we negotiated a good deal on that one. So
That's good.
yeah. So, but it's just, he was humbled and just blown away by the amount of people that still give a shit about Maven. Like, he's one of those guys that's so humble that he doesn't think that there's a demand for him. And I think I was able to prove to him that there is, to the point where at the end of the day, like Eric was starting to say, and I did cut you off, I apologize, but he started to say how, we exchanged the profits of the day. And, we said to him, how was everything? You happy with everything? And he was, oh my God, this is great. What about you? Are you guys happy? There's not a lot of these guys that would ask the vendor or the promoter that brought you in, was everything okay for you? You know what I mean? So that just shows you the kind of stand-up guy that Maven is. And it was an honor to work with him. And I can tell you, per Maven, he's going to be doing a few more events with us. He's going to be doing a Philly show with us in April, and he's going to be going to North Carolina with us as we do WrestleCade this year.
That's fantastic.
And he's going to take the road trip. So it's an exciting time, and real great guy.
Can I tell you I'm going to pitch an idea to Maven? I want to see what you guys think of it before I pitch it to him. Because I know you said that he's mentioned before that he really can't work again because he's hurt, which is completely understandable.
Now, not to cut you off, but since you brought that up, I will tell you that Maven is starting to get the itch again. And he did say to me, I might be the only guy that has made him want to possibly get himself back into wrestling shape. And
so
that
this might work better.
And what he did say is, if the time is right and the offer financially is right, which he didn't elaborate on, but assuming all the stars and the moon align,
right.
He did say that as long as he had at least 4 months notice, that he would consider getting himself back into ring shape. So there is a potential possibility of a return of one Maven, brought to you by tagmeadate.com.
So this idea might work better. Thank you, Steve, for doing that, by the way, for kind of pushing Maven towards this return. Because you know what? he doesn't, I think you're right. He's just too humble to realize that, he thinks he was a bit player. And, you might look back and say, yeah, he was a bit player. But guess what? People remember Maven. People remember Stevie Richards. People remember the Blue Meanie. And, those were the guys you remembered because they held the show together.
Do you know how many people that came to the table to get, shit with Maven? Do you know how many of them told him that he still to this day had the best drop kick in the business? And that wasn't necessarily because of the Undertaker situation. Now, he did get that a lot too. How was it?
No, it's a
Eliminating
beautiful
Taker.
drop kick.
But, I mean,
Him
he
and
really
Randy
did.
Orton.
Yeah, absolutely. Or Kurt Hennig. He always had a great drop kick.
Well, I guess Orton and Maven probably learned it at the same time,
Well, they also traveled a lot together, and they spent a lot of time together. Right. I mean, Maven probably has about 18 hours worth of Orton stories that he hasn't even shared with us yet, and he shared.
And he probably needs like a lawyer to clear all the stories first.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
That's wonderful. So here's my idea. I think, because I was talking about all good Anthony Green earlier today. Because
Love that
all I
kid.
do, all I do in my spare time is think about wrestling, which is I don't know if it's great or sad. But I thought because he kind of, he hasn't partnered with Cam in a while. He's got his little singles. He's got his singles thing going, but I think he needs a motivator, a life coach, perhaps. And I think the person that could motivate him and maybe be his tag team partner for a little while and steer him the right way, and then maybe eventually turn heel on him and start a feud and then have a big blow off where he puts him over at the end of it.
Well, here's the
would,
only
would
thing,
be
though.
Maven.
I got to tell you, I think it's a phenomenal idea so far. The one thing that he did stress to me is that if he ever did get back into the ring, he will only work as a heel.
Ooh, even better. So because AG is a natural heel. AG's a natural heel. That could work.
And he hasn't been heel in a while, so it might be time for him to make a
start. Because here's the thing: whatever the first show is that he shows up and he's going to get a babyface pop, so he has to play into it initially,
right?
Or just come out and kick somebody in the dick. You know what I mean? Like there's two solutions.
That's a way of getting heat real quick.
I mean, pretty much.
That was the moment order right back into the room because she heard Maven.
Could you imagine? So what would she think if we got Maven, if we worked on this and Steve worked on this and Maven wrestled at one of these shows in New York or the surrounding area, because he might make a return now. I have a feeling that means that Autumn would want to go to the show.
What do you think? Would you want to go?
I would 99% want to go.
99% want to go? What's the 1%?
The 1% is you being sick again. Oh!
Be quiet.
Oh, that's not it. Go with Keanu.
Go with a friend.
Too soon.
Oh, there you go. Too soon.
Too soon.
I told Kat, you got it bad when you got a disease named after two Jews. That means two doctors studied it and they couldn't find a cure. Oh, God.
That's what we named it when I was in the emergency room. We called it Friedman, Glenwick, and Jarrett.
Oh, God. That's a divorce attorney.
Yeah, Mo, Larry, and Curly. Exactly.
Goodness. Oh. So apparently Eric can't hear us, so he can't respond. So he's just looking very seriously into the camera. Oh, well, he's gone.
Yeah, I told him to hang up and try and get back on and see if that makes the difference.
And then Ryan had a good suggestion with the headphones.
So listen, we're officially about 23 minutes in, and we have a lot to cover. So I'm thinking maybe we get started with a little Fastlane action.
Jesus, Goldberg.
Well,
like, fuck the rest of Fastlane. What the fuck was that?
Well,
oh, my God. It was simultaneously awesome and like, whoa.
Well, first of all, let me start off by saying this. I think Fastlane has been one of the best pay-per-views we've had in a while. I still don't think it was great, but it was definitely a solid show. Goldberg, I mean, listen, we all knew that was happening. It was just a matter of how. It was just a matter of how. I mean, I had heard that it was going to be a squash type of situation again, which quite frankly doesn't surprise me, although I do have a question. And my question is this a negative thing for Goldberg to be beating all these guys in a squash situation? And I say that only because how is he getting himself prepared for a full-length, let's say 12 to 15-minute match with Brock Lesnar at Mania? Conditioning-wise, it would probably help him a little more. I mean, unless he's spending all his free time in the Performance Center, working out and getting ring ready, which I can't imagine he's doing. So I was curious to see what your thoughts were on that.
I read a fascinating chart online. Some user took the time to compile Goldberg's pay-per-view matches. And it turns out that in WCW, his average match time in pay-per-views was around 7 minutes and 40 seconds.
I believe that.
and
That's actually long.
the only number that skewed everything was he was in a triple threat match with Kane and Triple H that went 19 minutes. Every
Yeah.
other match he wrestled on pay-per-view
But you
was
gotta,
under 12 minutes.
But
What
you got to
about the,
imagine in a match
Elimination
like
Chamber?
that, you have to imagine in a match like that, he probably only wrestled 5 minutes of that match.
So that's what I'm saying. His longest singles match was 12 minutes long, period. So if you think he's going to have a long match at WrestleMania, you got another thing coming.
I'd
This
say
might
10
also be
minutes
their way of
max.
preventing him from getting hurt, though, prior to.
Do you want to bet they're going to make this like a falls count anywhere, no DQ kind of situation? So him and Lesnar. So here's the thing. Here's what I'm picturing. If they make it no holds barred or something, then he can hit the spear and the jackhammer right away and have the 3 count on him, and Heyman breaks it up. And then they go into the rest of the match, which could theoretically be another 5 minutes of them just brawling around the ring, whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
F5
he could do
finish.
a run around chasing Paul Heyman for
Right,
a moment,
Heyman gets caught with
and
the
then Brock
spear.
Lesnar cuts him off.
Exactly. If Heyman catches a spear and then fucking Goldberg turns around into an F5 and you've got the finish here match, if that happens, you all owe me $9.99 a month.
I mean, I got to be honest with you. I think that it's definitely not a bad thing to make that match a no holds barred, no DQ, because it gives them a lot more options and a way to go longer.
Right.
You know, you can have a few more rest holds in there, but you're brawling rather than being a technical wrestler, which quite honestly, neither one of them really is. I mean, they're both brawlers, really.
Right.
And that's
Brock is good enough to.
I'm not saying he's not a technical wrestler, but he's more of a brawler now than he is technical.
What if they both just went in and had like a really good Brazilian jiu-jitsu grappling match to start this shit off? Because they both had to do it. Like they both went, Goldberg was gonna go into MMA and Brock Lesnar did MMA. If they just started off with a collar and elbow, worked their way to the ground, and just did like ground and pound and elbows and try and get him into a fucking wrist lock and all this other shit and counter out of it. And hey,
Well,
do something.
Does anyone remember that rare Kane Big Show match on Raw that they all of a sudden they just ended up doing technical stuff?
And then they did the Braun Strowman Big Show.
And JR was like, I don't know what to tell you, folks. I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah.
Anytime you see that hammerlock reverse, kip up hammerlock spot,
Drop toe hold,
or the reverse arm ring or whatever it is spot, that whenever you see that happen with a guy over like 6-something, 7 feet tall, what can you do but just sit back and watch it? Even JR's like, come on, man. You just got to watch it and experience this for yourself.
Yeah.
Commentary could not add to that moment because you just saw that guy do that move, you know?
Hey, and by the way, let's not forget about Charlotte's pay-per-view streak ending.
That's right.
That was crazy.
Unceremoniously.
The queen is dead.
I will tell you this. I do not think Charlotte's winning at Mania.
No.
I think her losing this pay-per-view has changed the game for me. My other question is, how does Nia Jax fit in now? Because now it sounds like they've made a triple threat. We still have plenty of time for that to become a fatal four-way. But how does Nia get involved now? Because it would have been perfect for her to come out last night, and she didn't.
I'd say probably threatening Stephanie, and then, of course, they're going to have Bailey eat the pin to get for that getting added.
Oh yeah. So one thing I need to talk about for the women is why does Stephanie every time she comes out have to remind everyone that Sasha isn't the boss?
I think it's setting up a potential Sasha Stephanie.
But at what point do you just go, yeah, we know it's her nickname? Like you just like we've got a guy called the Undertaker. Pretty sure he doesn't own a funeral home. Can we just roll with it? She's the boss.
Well, I think that's Stephanie just being Stephanie, and she likes
Roman Reigns isn't really a big dog.
She took a nice shot at CM Punk in that segment too.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Ugh.
That was huge.
So at least they're acknowledging it instead of just ignoring it, which
Well, I think they've learned nowadays you can't make it go away, especially when you're in Chicago.
Actually, no, you can't. They're still editing Roman Reigns' reactions. So,
that's another fucking thing. Why the fuck are they doing that? Are they looking for Taker to be the heel? Because it's not going to happen.
This guy's going to get murdered. Like, he's literally going to get murdered by the crowd at WrestleMania. Especially if he wins.
Well, now that brings me to my next question. See, but now that brings me to my next question.
The tone is concerning there.
Are we gonna have loss number 2?
It's true.
I hope not. I can't say that it's not going to happen, but I hope not.
I really think they're going to, and it's going to go over really badly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, whether it's Roman Reigns or anyone else, it would go over badly because nobody wants to see Taker lose. I mean, what's the fucking point of him still going if he's going to take another loss at Mania is my question.
You're going to have another Bash at the Beach scenario with shit being thrown in the ring if Roman Reigns beats The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns better have more security than HBK did at the Montreal Screwjob.
Hey, you know what? That if they're going to take him and make him a heel instead of the next night, because you know what's going to happen. Let me walk you down this road. If the Undertaker loses to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, the next night on Raw, what Roman Reigns should do is come out and accept all of the booze and drink it in, man, and all that shit, and accept the fact that he is now the biggest heel in the WWE because he just beat the fucking Undertaker. Lean into it. What they're gonna do is they're gonna ignore the fact that the entire Raw after WrestleMania crowd is booing him, and they're gonna come out and he's gonna talk about how he's the big dog, and then the bell's gonna toll and the lights are gonna go out, and the Undertaker's gonna show up in the ring and everybody's gonna cheer, and the Undertaker's gonna go, you know what? I thought about it. You really are the big dog. And then he gives him the fucking stare and the fist pose and leaves, and they're gonna try and put him over. Right, and that's going to be it. He's going to be like, you are the better man, and then shake his hand and all this crap that nobody wants to see.
That's going to be complete and utter bullshit if that happens. That's all I'm going to say.
If that happens, you'll owe me $9.99 a month.
I will riot.
Actually, I was going to take it in a different direction. I was going to say that night after Mania, after Reigns wins, he's going to challenge Brock for the title.
Oh Jesus, yeah, that would definitely happen. And then the Undertaker's gonna be like, "You can do it, big dog. Make Lesnar rest in peace."
I believe in you. I couldn't do it, but you can.
Right, and then Undertaker comes out and gives Brock Lesnar a last ride and helps Reigns win, and then gives him a blowjob afterward.
Oh jeez.
And then Mick Foley comes out and just tongues his butthole for a little while. Yeah, just lots of tongue.
You know what really sucks about this whole thing is that it sounds more so like Vince is going to be writing this. And the reason is if the ultimate intention is that you're going to make Roman heel, then why would they still be trying to edit out all the booze?
Oh,
yeah.
They're not going to.
That's the concerning thing.
The thing that I don't get is how many superstars have gone this far getting rejected along the way and have their push taken. And yet they continue to push Reigns.
I don't know.
You know, and I need to mention this. People may say John Cena, but Roman Reigns is no John Cena.
John Cena at least had 50-50.
Yeah.
And you know what? I people say that Roman Reigns is a good worker. He's decent. I think that
I'm not saying he's not. He's
right.
He's an okay worker, but it's his character isn't connecting.
Yeah,
and that's not on Roman Reigns at all.
Somewhat.
I mean, it's kind of on Roman Reigns because he could do something. He could get a haircut or change his facial hair, or change his gear, change his music. He could switch up how he says things. He doesn't have to say tater tots. Like he could come up with some other shit. I don't know, man. Like
the way he delivered that crap. It was that I'm too cool for this.
Well, because he didn't
It was a sarcastic.
You have to believe in it, and he didn't. Like somebody gave him that. Somebody wrote that and gave it to him, and he didn't believe in it. And you know how you're supposed to believe that when you he did not believe that.
Without Jericho selling it, that he believed in it, it would have never gone across.
Exactly. So you have to bleed that.
I tell you what, Eric
so
brought up
much.
Cena.
What was that?
What?
Eric, I said Eric brought up Cena. this is going to be worse if Roman Reigns wins. Do you remember when if Cena wins, we riot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be worse.
It's gonna be
People are going to be rowdy. They're going to be riding roller coasters and listening to Flo Rida and getting all amped for WrestleMania. How many goddamn Flo Rida songs is WWE going to use, by the way?
I don't know.
Welcome to my house.
That one wasn't bad, but like this last one, I swear to God, Flo Rida actually probably wrote this one. And goes, well, it's not good, but at least it'll be a WWE theme song. You know what I mean? Like that's his backup plan for all of his songs.
This isn't gonna hit the top charts, but WWE might pick it up.
Because Vince will go, we need another ethnic song. Call up that Florida guy.
Get that Rada flows.
What's his name? Orlando? Call him.
Get Fort Lauderdale on the phone.
First name Fort, last name Lauderdale. Look it up.
When I look like a dictionary, Patterson, get in here. I got it.
What was that?
You guys were having an interesting discussion the other night also, too, about Nia Jax's outfit.
Oh, God, that poor girl.
She looks like a Power Ranger.
Can somebody, I want to give her a hug and a cup of tea. I feel so badly for what they've done to her with these outfits.
I don't know what their goal is.
They look like if Super Shredder was playing in the Lingerie Football League.
Oh, shit.
Super Shredder, I started identifying as a female.
Yes, if Super Shredder needed to use the women's bathroom in Target, that's the outfit he would wear. Is that a little too
Women don't wear shoulder pads anymore.
Dude, nobody wears shoulder pads anymore except for one
Even
Road Warrior
really
and the
don't.
NFL.
they really minimize those.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching a repeat of the Golden Girls or something, seeing all the shoulder pads.
She's in Glow. Speaking of, did you see the teaser trailer? And it was very brief for Glow on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that show.
I'll definitely be checking it out. We'll see.
Allison Brie is in it, so I gotta check it out.
So Raw had a special type of feel last night, didn't it?
If by special type of feel you mean I fell asleep during the middle of the New Day segment.
Did you really? I
was tired.
I thought it was one of the
after New Day.
I thought it was one of the better Raws we've had.
It wasn't bad. I just
I woke up to discover the third. I should have slept for the first 2 hours and woke up for the last one.
But
that
see,
was really the meat of the show.
Yeah, but see, I disagree because I thought everything was spaced out properly and it kept your attention all the way through. And it was the kind of Raw of surprises. You know, it started off with the great Jericho promo with Kevin Owens. That whole segment was a home run. Stephanie and Mick Foley and the women, that was all a great segment. Putting Sasha and Bayley against each other was great. Starting the potential heel turn for Sasha, although I thought it would have happened already.
It makes more sense Raw after Mania.
Well, possibly, but it was just, and then the Undertaker showing up at the end and chokeslamming Roman and Brock, F5 and Goldberg. Like everything there was one big thing that happened per hour that kept you entertained. Enzo and Cass's segment's always entertaining, and then you had the New Day with the popsicles that are probably going to debut at Mania, and I've got to get my hands on them. So I mean, there's just so many different things that they did.
Austin Aries in his big package.
Austin Aries was a fucking home run. I mean, that whole segment couldn't have been better, and the crowd made it what it was because, you're trying to interview Neville and everyone's chanting Aries, and then he would smirk. It was just everything was done properly. The promo was done well. Obviously, the fight at the end was great. But, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It's like every hour had something special where, for me, I was exhausted, but I stayed awake all the way through.
See, I think I don't know if I fell asleep for spots because I definitely remember the Goldberg thing. So I think I just fell asleep.
In and out.
I was definitely in and out because I remember the Goldberg thing, but I had to go back and look up the Undertaker thing. And I was very happy to learn that the Undertaker chokeslammed the shit out of Roman Reigns.
Yes. Yeah, it was. I mean, he didn't say a word. He just chokeslammed him and then walked out. It was
The
he's
whole
gotta do.
look at Mania sign.
We're going back to that, right? That whole.
Yeah.
Remember the Triple H promo?
That was awesome. I enjoyed that
That's
though.
great.
That just in the back. What do they say? I'm gonna heavy breathe at you, and I'm gonna heavy breathe at you, and then we're gonna look at the sign. We're gonna look at the sign. And he's like,
You're gonna breathe at me, and you're gonna breathe right back at me. And we're gonna look at the sign, and we're gonna stare right back at each other.
And one did the throat thing, and the other did the crotch chop, and it was like, it was great. Let's
And I'm
not.
gonna
Okay, I
tell
can't
you
not
to
diminish.
suck it.
In the moment, that was great. Now that we can look back on it, almost a decade later, it was kind of silly, but it was great.
Oh, it was
That
kind
whole
of
thing-
parody.
Brian's dating video promo talking about what he just did.
And the memory remains, right? That was
Yeah.
the Metallica
That
stuff
wasn't
that they
that
did.
how the cell had a
Yeah, the cell had its own entrance music, and it came
Yeah,
out.
that was great.
Oh, you know, speaking of, There's
that was such a great match.
there's something
Yeah.
that we did forget to mention.
Ooh.
What's that?
Something very important. Yeah.
You're killing me.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Excellent.
Talk about somebody that's finally getting his rightful place, you know. And I mean, he really was, when you talk about the total package, and not to take anything away from Luger, but I mean, he had it all. He could talk, he had the looks, he had the skills in the ring. The women loved him. The gimmick worked. Bobby the Brain only made it even better. I mean, it was just everything about Rude was just amazing. I mean, how about the time where the Attitude Era and the NWO and all that was really getting hot, and you had Rick Rude show up on both shows in one night? You know what I mean? Like shit like that, people forget.
That,
you know,
that can't happen anymore.
We'll never
That's
get
not
that
acceptable.
again.
Well, no, not anymore. But that's what makes that so special, is that it's not something that can ever happen again.
And
Yeah.
one of the greatest heels of all time, like the heat he got for hitting on Cheryl Roberts.
Ooh, yeah.
God.
Dude,
Oh,
and
yeah.
actually, come to think of it, I think he's one of the few that was never, ever a face. I don't remember him ever
I'm
being
pretty
a
sure
face.
it was never a face.
He was
Unless
always
you
the-
count that little stint in ECW with Shane Douglas, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't really count.
we won't count that.
I mean,
But
DX,
overall, I mean, he's never really been anything but a heel. Same with DiBiase. He was always a heel. He was never a face. But there were very few. Even like guys like Erwin R. Shyster, he was always a heel. I mean, I don't know how you make him a face.
Kind of like Great Mysterio.
Rick the Model Martel. I don't remember a time that he was a face, or maybe very early on with Strikeforce. But then,
well, before he was the model, he wasn't.
well, right. But as the model, he was always a heel. He never made that turn. So, kind of interesting.
yeah, Rick Rude definitely deserves. You know, I know they try and stay away from the guys that died due to the steroids thing, but you gotta recognize them at the same time. There's that you have to.
I'm pretty sure Rude was not because of roids, actually.
Well, I thought he died from large heart.
Cocaine overdose.
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
I thought it was a cocaine overdose as well.
It was cocaine, yeah.
Jesus, but still, you have to. They don't usually induct those guys. You know what I mean? They stay away from the controversial kind of deaths unless it's like a, I don't know, somebody who is in. They've given it enough time. You know what I mean?
The Wikipedia says heart failure. He died from a mixed medications.
So drugs, yeah.
Yeah.
AKA cocaine.
Exactly.
But it's
They
good that
also-
they are acknowledging these guys. But you do, you know, there's a responsibility to say, you know, that this did happen, and you acknowledge it, and kind of don't let it diminish the achievements, but also just, you know, as an awareness thing.
Listen,
You know, right? Be honest.
Listen, I had this conversation with Maven, and it's so true. devastating things happen in people's personal lives. Some of them are because of actions that you do. Sometimes they're not. And there's never any justification for some of the worst things like killing somebody or, anything like that. But when you make personal life choices to do drugs or things that, are hardcore, that really, like, at any time, your heart could give out because you're doing stuff like cocaine or whatever, that still does not take away from what you gave to the business. You were still there. You were still great in the ring. You still put butts in the seats. And if it wasn't for guys like a ravishing Rick Rude, we wouldn't be where we are today. I was having this conversation, and we always revert back to somebody like Chris Benoit. He did a horrible, horrible, horrible thing, whether it was completely his fault or not. He did it, and it was a horrible thing. But it does not at all take away from anything he did inside of that ring. And Chris Benoit will go down as one of the greatest ever in that ring. And no matter what he did, that's a fact. So, but it's whether it's killing somebody, it's drugs, it's this or that, or steroids or this. At the end of the day, it doesn't change what they did for the business. And everybody should get in, including somebody like China, who paved the way for a lot of women for a lot of different reasons.
Right. And again, they're going to stay away. They kind of stay away from her too.
Well, because of the point.
I think China will be next year. I think with them pushing it off so long, they didn't want to do immediately after she died, and there's really no winning with China currently.
Well, no, Ryan makes a good point, though. I mean, I could see them not wanting to do it right away for that reason. Unfortunately, this is one thing that Triple H is right about. If Autumn was to go on the internet and Google China, the first thing now that will probably pop up is that she died of an overdose, and right under that would be her porn. And then the very last thing you would see is her wrestling career. And that's a damn shame because of what she contributed to the wrestling business. That should be the first thing. But unfortunately, she made those life choices that, unfortunately, she may be one of those cases that for that reason does not get in.
I could see it's probably next couple of years, but it's just a shame that she didn't take her opportunity with TNA.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
but you know what, though? I don't know that would have changed the outcome.
Not really the outcome, but it might have butterfly effect with her straightening up, and she might have led back to WWE, which would have led her on the straighter and narrow because she had to. It gives her guidelines. With porn, there really isn't. She could do cocaine and do drugs and everything, and still do porn, but she had to follow a stricter guideline if she was going to wrestle.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think more so with WWE than TNA. I mean,
I was just saying, like, if she worked out with TNA, she might have moved back to WWE.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, it's a valid point, and I guess you're right. And then, of course, in WWE with the strict, pop-up drug tests and whatnot, and the wellness policy, she probably would have been in a better situation. That is a valid point. But, at the end of the day, it's a shame. And at the end of the day, we just don't know if they're going to pull the trigger or not. It sucks, but does she have every right to be in the Hall of Fame? 100,000%.
And again, I feel like they might stay, that for whatever reasons they stay away from her, and it is hard to when you're a publicly traded company and you're trying to maintain a certain family-friendly image, and you've got people who have passed away under certain circumstances or had certain life choices after they left your company, but because they were most notable during their time in your company, you are associated with them in the same way they're associated with you. So, like O.J. Simpson, the NFL, most networks don't really. They'll mention if a record's held by O.J. Simpson, but that's it. They won't say, "Oh, that guy's doing as well as O.J. Simpson would have done with that. He's better than." No, they don't. They don't ever really talk about him as while he was a very good player, set records, etc. They don't like to bring him up because of that controversy, and so there's an allegory there between him. Excuse me, I had to burp in the middle of my point. between him and Benoit, where you see both these companies, NFL, kind of staying away from OJ, WWE definitely staying away from Benoit. The NFL seems a little bit more okay with mentioning OJ Simpson's name in terms of records or somebody surpassing a certain milestone or whatever. But they won't really put him over as a, they say, oh, they won't talk about like his Hall of Fame career, because obviously he's not going to be a Hall of Famer, but, they don't really put him over talent-wise, whereas WWE won't mention Chris Benoit at all, and they did the best they could to scrub him out of a lot of stuff. And I know now they're kind of backing off on that, but not really.
It's a shame.
It is, but at the same time, I completely understand where they're coming from and why they're doing what they're doing, but and perhaps there'll be a time when we've all collectively mourned the situation and I'm not saying inducting the Hall of Fame if that's not their choice, but I'm saying at least to the point where you can acknowledge and separate the professional career from the personal life, which is hard to do in wrestling because the characters are so close most of the time to who that person is, or they're so closely associated with them that even in public, these people have to put on a public persona. Even if they're not in the wrestling ring, they keep up this layer of fiction almost 24/7, and there are very few times where they can truly just be themselves. So really the line between them and their character is very slim. So you equate them with their character, and so it's hard to separate Chris Benoit the character from Chris Benoit the person, especially since from everything we've understood, the character and the person were very close together.
Right.
They're very similar. So it's hard to say that time is ever going to come, but if it did, it probably, it has, but it'll be 10 years now, but is there a time, is there an appropriate number? South Park said it was like 22 years. I don't know what they, for getting over tragedy. I'm not really sure what the rubric is for this, but I'm sure that at one point, especially if the situation is treated with the respect and the care that they treat the O.J. Simpson case. They did that very good 30 for 30 documentary on O.J. Simpson. I believe it was a 30 for 30.
Yeah, well, they just reopened the Benoit case again last year.
And if there ever comes a time where we're far enough removed from this situation where they're able to objectively do a documentary like that on this case, it would be very fascinating.
What are they reopening the case for? Like, what's the point of it at this point?
Yeah, I know.
What's going on is because there's a lot of stuff that Chavo didn't actually give in the original deposition.
Damn it,
that
Chavo.
Time frames don't match with the knock on the door, with the scuffle, with everything of Nancy's time of death. There's a lot of stuff that wasn't in the initial police report that they decided to reopen it.
Ugh.
Like, if you want me to send it to you, I will. I have like an entire file on this because I've been following this extensively for years.
Approximately 10.
Yeah, pretty
right,
much.
Yeah.
But there's a whole thing, like there's a whole phone conversation that they were able to pull from Chris's phone, where Chris even says a point like, "Hey, hang on, Chavo, someone's at the door," and the phone drops because you can hear a scuffle and you hear the dogs barking. But then the text message later says the dogs are outside. You know, remember all the text messages and everything?
Right.
But that was on Friday.
So wait, are they saying that there's a potential that he's not the one that did this?
Correct.
Oy.
Wow.
No,
aside from the fact with the whole Bible mystery, because Chris Benoit and Nancy were atheists, so why were their Bibles all over the house?
Oh, that's interesting.
Why were their Bibles next to Nancy's body, Chris's body, Daniel's body? They were atheists.
Wow.
Why was Chris Benoit's weight changed? So that's all been reopened as of last year. There's a whole bunch of stuff. It's really twisted, but they are starting to believe. And also, on Daniel. Chris's prints aren't on Nancy. Chris's prints aren't on the weight machine. What did he do? Wear gloves in his own house?
Well, I don't know. I guess we may never know. But if they have reopened it, they're at least they've got some sort of lead, I suppose. So we'll see where that. If anything turns up from that, I'm sure you'll be the first to let us know because you'll be on top of it.
Oh, absolutely.
You have a Google alert set for all things Chris Benoit. I don't even think they still use those anymore.
No, I have my TMZ actually monitor for that.
Oh wow, that's interesting. You can do that. I didn't know you could.
If you autopsy reports of celebrities, I get them all the time. I I extensive because of the medical stuff, because I'm with my medical. So I actually go through all this stuff and read it extensively. Like I just actually got Bill Paxton's yesterday, and that was pretty messed up.
That's not at all morbid.
School student, remember?
Yes, I know. So I just found out
all that death.
No, I know that would freak me out, man. I couldn't do it. You're a bigger man than I am, Kat. I couldn't pull that shit off. I just found out there is a wrestler that might shoot into your top 5 guys. His name is the Hasidic outlaw Matthias Glass. And the best part is, I don't know what you call these, but I'm sure one of you will. Let me turn my camera on here. Holy shit. This is amazing. We only he's got a giant one of these on his head.
Huh.
What is that? Is that some kind of Hasidic hat?
Yeah, but it's like jumbo
like a
version.
giant
Three
version
times the size. Yeah. Okay.
That's hilarious.
Apparently, I don't think he wrestles. I don't think he could wrestle in it, right? I think you have to take that off. But
That's got to come off.
Probably.
But he wears it. He wears it in the ring, or he at least wears it to the ring. That's lovely. It looks like he's got. Yeah, that's wonderful. Good for him.
That is amazing.
Finding something that works. Going with it.
Hey, whatever works.
So
Which is funny because on the games throughout the years, Steve and his boys would create the Jew World Order.
The Jew World Order.
Yeah, the Hebrew. It was the Hebrew hammer, the Jerusalem jackhammer, and then that was it. That was the JWO.
Excellent. I had them bring in the Yiddish Bulldog.
The Yiddish Bulldog.
Yeah, the Yiddish.
and the Brian Schmendrick. And then there was a faction within that group called the LOL, the Ladies of Latka.
Right, the women.
Oh my God.
The Ladies of Latka. That's unfortunate. So shout out to @HasidicOutlaw #BeAMensch. That's his. So go follow the @HasidicOutlaw #BeAMensch.
That's hilarious.
The fucking war report. That's ridiculous. I just saw this guy and do you know this guy? Well, no, I don't. What is this giant hat on his head?
Oh, that's hilarious.
We got anything left to say for the evening? We're all getting towards the top of the hour. SmackDown's going to be on soon.
Yeah, we're about top of the hour.
Any final thoughts on Ross, Fastlane, all that?
Excited for SmackDown.
Hey-oh, SmackDown.
I will not be watching live, so just watch the.
Oh, we can't.
No spoilers.
No spoilers
for you. Sorry about that in advance in case any shit happens. Right? Yeah, we'd have to mute Steve for a little while.
Start up another chat just for tonight's SmackDown.
That's what we did last week.
Oh, that's rude.
Oh, that's
you can just use the same one from last week. You don't even need to set up a new one. You just use the same one.
Anyone watching SmackDown? I'm like, yeah, PM me, Clink.
Oh, it's too bad that you won't be able to watch it live, but you will be able to watch it because they're doing what? Another who gets to see face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania match?
Yeah,
AJ Styles and
third week in a row.
Orton.
Yeah.
We're gonna get this down to a triple threat match eventually, right?
I think so.
God,
I hope
so. Well,
you're probably gonna have if we're gonna get a triple threat, that means
AJ's got to.
There's gonna be some outside interference.
Yeah.
Did
I'd definitely rather that.
Again last night?
No, they didn't.
They started promoting for Nakamura for last night. They showed him for NXT, not from bumping him up or anything. He's coming on this week to NXT.
Okay.
That doesn't necessarily mean he can't bump up. I mean,
Yeah,
well,
there's still
Sami Zayn's
20.
wrestled both.
Fine, but I'm just saying, yeah.
Yeah. There's plenty of time between now and WrestleMania. 28
Yeah.
days.
And
Oh,
a lot
wow.
can change.
It's coming
Yeah.
up, man.
It's crazy.
Holy moly.
But what'll be crazy is in 28 days, we'll wonder where the 28 days went.
Yeah, seriously. It'll be 28 days later. And we
Yeah,
don't
you're
know
not kidding.
Without the zombies, hopefully.
Yeah, let's hope.
All right, guys.
All right. We will pack things up. Thank you for watching or listening to another rousing edition of the War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate.com, the first and only dating site for professional wrestling fans. Find your tag team partner or get yourself into a three-way dance at TagMeADate.com. You can upload a video promo. This is different from most other dating sites where you just get a picture or a description. You get the picture, you get a description, and if you are a motivated person, you get to upload your own brief video promo. So ooh yeah, looking for Elizabeth. You can tell them who you're looking for, and you can upload the video. You can find amongst our roster of over 20,000 superstars and divas, as I said, your tag team partner. Don't get too crazy. What the hell? Get carried away. Have fun with it. It's free to sign up. And before we start making that, we're living on a boat money. You can get on it now. Sign up before it's not free, or whatever else is our next monetization step. Get on board, because if you get on board early, you're gonna ride this whole. We're gonna go viral.
You can ride the gravy train.
You're gonna ride it. Whoop whoop right into the sun. We're gonna do this thing. So again, check out tagmedate.com for all of your dating needs. If you're a professional wrestling fan, and if you're listening to this, you better be. Otherwise, you just enjoy our banter. So
we do have weird banter,
right? We do have weird banter. So if you want to check out our weird banter and you don't give a shit about wrestling, you go to YouTube and you type in "Tag Me a Date," all one word. Tag Me a Date, no spaces. Squish it together. You will see the Tag Me a Date channel. It will have all of our previous videos, our upcoming shows. As I said, it will be live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You can check that out. Again, the time change. If and when that comes up, I'll announce our week in advance. Hey, set your clocks back.
It's next week.
Is it next week? Don't set your clocks back, God damn it. All right, so there we go. You've got your notice. Next week is going to be a different time. We're going to wake up and it'll literally be the year 2018. Wait, shit, it's not New Year's. That's not how this works. But you set your clock. What is it? Spring forward an hour. So you all lose an hour of sleep. Screw you. So check us out. If you don't celebrate this time change or participate, there are very few places. I think there's one place in the United States that doesn't do it.
Arizona.
See, there we go. Everybody knows it's the one, Arizona. Is there anywhere else? Probably there's some other places that don't observe it. But if you live somewhere that they don't observe it, acknowledge that there's an hour time change. We're jumping forward next week. Otherwise, just hang out with us. It's still 7 p.m. on the Eastern dial. And adjust.
Or subscribe, and
right.
You'll never have to worry.
See, if you hit subscribe, it'll pop up on your phone. And if you like the video, I'm sure it'll keep coming up under, recommended videos or some shit like that. We'll come up eventually. Just keep following and subscribe. Go to social media, follow Tag Me Date, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. And we will see you next week.